Alright, so I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while now, just to let the devs know what could be improved about the Mercury Star Runner. My voice sounds a little bit off. It's because I've just finished working 7 midnight shifts in a row, so I'm feeling a little bit groggy. Just bear with me here. First thing to point out on the outside is, of course, that the button is in an awkward spot. The button is very small, and there have been lots of people who have already commented on that. My suggestion for that would be to have that label sitting somewhere more at eye level. For example, right here could be an indentation, which would be rather convenient because as you step off the ramp, you don't have so far to travel to find a button to close the ramp again. Of course, in the meantime, while I'm standing over here or running over here for the button, somebody else is running up the ramp, and we don't want that either. So walking up inside, the ramp is nice and straight. I think it's a perfect design ramp. We'll close that again. Button is a little bit small. Now, there have been lots of people already posting videos about how great the ship is and how great the fidelity is and everything else, so I'm just going to leave that assumed that I love the ship, and it puts all the other ships to shame. That being said, however, let's get into the things that I don't understand about this ship. So first of all, restricted area. Signage on the floor to keep your head down, and then you bump your head into this. I'm not really sure why this even had to be here, what this is for. I would love to hear one of the devs explain to me what this is for, and why this is a restricted area. Because if it's only for not bumping into this thing, then why is this thing here in the first place? So I'm hoping somebody can explain to me why this is a restricted area. Now, another thing, of course, by now everybody knows that there's a hidden entrance right here behind this door. And keep this in mind here. Hidden door, if I press the F key, there's no interact. Hidden button, you don't see the button. You wouldn't think to press your F key on here anyway. This is rather a large area, I guess, to interact with. If they make the interact region a little bit smaller, maybe if they put a couple of rivets here or just a small little label, we have something to aim at. Just something smaller, because right now anybody walking around and pressing the F key might have an easier time interacting with it. We'll get back to the hidden doors here later on, but I'll just leave this open for now. We'll go over to the engineering room first. Really like what's in here. A couple of oddities though. First one is the quantum drive. Now usually quantum drives have some empty space at the top because there's supposed to be a jump drive attached on the top. This one doesn't have any space on the top, so where's the jump drive? And if the jump drive is actually positioned on top of it, we wouldn't be able to interact with it. So again, if one of the devs can explain to me where's the jump drive and how we're supposed to access it. Same thing with these ones over here. They're a little bit low. I don't know if the whole thing is supposed to rise up. Maybe the entire unit together with the door could actually elevate up a little bit, a couple of feet, or maybe the rack that the power unit is in is supposed to articulate out, so we can work on it right here. I'd love to hear about that. What's the plan with this? The shields, they're on the outside. I suppose they wouldn't have to be on the inside, so I'd be okay with it. My only question is, if everything is here in this room, what do we do if we lose access to it? I mean, what if we get boarded and the cargo bay is full of pirates and the first thing they can get access to is this room? We just lost control over all of our power. So there has to be a battery somewhere on this ship, which I haven't found yet, and I don't know where it's going to go. There's also no gravity unit. There's also no life support unit. We already know that there's another secret button over here. This one is the best hidden button so far. So kudos to whoever thought of this one. And you'll also know... Oh, and if I close this again, you'll also notice that the UI here is much smaller than the one in the cargo bay. At least it appears to be. So you have a harder time actually finding it. Now, as for this door right here, make a mental note of it, because I'll be referring back to it later on when we get into the scanning. What else do I want to tell about this room? Well, there's no engineering control panel. Dan Truffin gave us a beautiful presentation about how the engineer UI is supposed to manage power flow throughout the ship, and I haven't found any of that here in the ship. I don't know if it even would have to be in the engineering section, but again, I haven't found it anywhere. All right, we'll move on. We have an elevator. Now, the floor up isn't really one level up, it's more like 3/4 of a level up. And if I look at it this way, there should have been enough room to put a staircase here. Now, elevators are expensive game code. They're laborious, they slow you down. I'm not really sure why CIG always wants to put a lift when a staircase will do. At first I thought maybe you wouldn't want steps going down here because it would block the Ursa side door, but then we parked an Ursa in it, and there's actually enough room. If you park the Ursa a little bit further to the right, there's enough space to open up the side door, and if you park the Ursa backwards, it's no problem at all. As a matter of fact, if you don't park the Ursa all the way to the back wall, there's still enough room. So don't understand why a lift was required. Now, the usual thing with every Star Citizen ship is you can walk underneath here and get crushed. So there should really be something over here that articulates a screen door, some kind of a netting, just something that scissors to prevent you from walking in here, because guaranteed, the first time I saw this ship, I ran in here, the lift happened to be up, I'm going like, where's the button? And then, of course, these stairs at the time you were able to go up even though you shouldn't be able to go up. So it's just poorly designed. When the power is off in the ship, you can't even use the ladder to go up, so I just don't understand what was going on here. Now, perhaps the lift would be necessary if you had some big boxes to go up, but then again, the hidden cargo room is over there. Delivery boxes you can climb with stairs, and all the size 2 components are behind this door. So again, I don't know what big bulky objects you could possibly be moving upstairs. There's just no need for it. Okay, the lift isn't working on this panel here, unless we can. I'm not even going to try it. So for the time being, we'll just have to jump up. But let's say there is a reason to have big boxes in our hand when we come up the stairs. So now I'm carrying a big box, and I might be bumping into something delicate right here. I mean, there's exposed buttons and cables. If I'm carrying a big heavy box, big enough to warrant having a lift, the last thing I want to do is to drag something like that that can bump and damage these expensive computers. The original concept had 6 data modules. So here we have 6 data modules. That should have sufficed, I think. I don't know why this here was required. If you just remove these data units here, it doesn't feel so strange when you first come into the ship, and you might have had a chance to put maybe a couple of suit lockers here, or just any kind of general storage. I'm sure you can figure something out. Then again, there's also the matter of the missing gravity unit and the missing life support unit, which could have been placed right here. Now I'm just going to stay in this section for the time being. So imagine if you're a boarding party, whether you're security or pirates, you're coming in, you're in a crouched position, you got your rifle drawn in front, and you're slowly making your way up. You're not familiar with the ship, but hey, here's a door, and you're not familiar with all the panels, so you think, okay, maybe this is the button. No, that's not it. The first thing you try to do is you try to interact with the door, and as you use the interact, you go, oh, there's something here. See this door? That's supposed to be hidden. It's not hidden. If I can see the UI, then it's not hidden. How hard is it to get in there? That's how easy it is. There's no lock on it. And the UI is right there. So what I would suggest is to do the same thing that you did with the other 2 doors we've already looked at, is to not have the UI here, but to actually have a button on the wall somewhere. Now, whether you put that button, I wouldn't put it right next to it because you might fall through it, but whether you put it up here or you put it over here, I mean, you could even put it on the ceiling. Actually, the ceiling might even be better because nobody would think to press the F key there. So, hidden door, hidden button, just like you have with the other 2 doors that we already looked at. Again, gravity unit, life support unit is missing. That could go here, it could go here, it could go in any one of these 3 units over here, and then there's a missing engineering control panel, which again, I mean, wherever you want to put it. I suppose over here would be the best place, that way you're not right in front of the turret chairs. Love the turret chairs, by the way. Okay, no critique over here. I suppose the next place we should look at is the scanning room. Okay, scanning room. I was the one who complained that it looked like a U-boat submarine before, and just by putting these computer racks over here, it made all the difference in the world, so I like it. My one question, of course, is the dead-end space over here. Now, we know why this is here. It's to hide another one of these doors that has no hidden button, because anybody can find it just by pressing the F key. Now, NPCs are too dumb to realize, to question why this is here. Of course, because it's a game, you need space around here to climb up and walk around it. So I understand why the game needs this space here, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense. If we could put something here, maybe some shelves for spare component units, or maybe some more data racks, even just a mop and bucket, or something like that. Anything to just give it a reason to be there. On a more extreme level, I would even suggest that you put another one of these doors here, like you saw in the engineering room. Another one of these hidden doors. It doesn't quite look like that, but you know the one that's where all the power and cooler components are. If you put another one of those doors right here, then this room would look more square. The size would be appropriate, and you could put another hidden button somewhere on the wall here. Open that up. Now you can walk into this room, and now you can get access, and it just makes a lot more sense, if you ask me. In that case, you wouldn't even need a special hidden button for this hatch panel, because the door that would be over here would have that hidden button somewhere on the wall, or again in the ceiling if need be. Alright, moving on. We've done this, we've done this. As a lot of people have already pointed out, gun racks, they're out in the open, they should really be behind the door. And again, maybe there could be a hidden button for that. So if the gun racks are over here, maybe the button to open it up is in the ceiling, or even on the opposite wall. I mean, I'll let the developers figure that one out. Habitation. Now originally the habitation was supposed to go to the left. Instead it's now gone to the right, because this is where the scanner room used to be. I like it, it's interesting. The chairs are obviously missing, they'll have to be added. No functionality on the drawers, but I'm sure that'll come. Storage. Love the idea of storage, because we'll need spare components, spare subcomponent units. And I'd really like to know, question for the devs, these bags that are strapped in here, are we able to remove them in the future and then add or use this for additional storage? Or is this going to be here forever, and we won't be able to do anything with it? Because this would make for some more convenient storage space. Now, additional storage space is over here. Okay, I get that. What I don't get is when people are sleeping over here, they probably want the lights off. Great. Now, somebody else comes in, he needs something from his locker, and should there be a spotlight so I can see what I'm grabbing from my locker? Or am I going over here, turning on the light, and waking up my buddy saying, hey, what the heck? So these lockers, I'm not sure if they should really be here. If you're coming out of the shower and you're drying off and everything else, I mean, last thing I want to do is to lie here asleep wondering who turned on the light, and as I open my eyes I see somebody's butt getting dried off by a towel. I mean, I just don't need this, right? So I would actually suggest moving these lockers, and I realize there's a lot of asking, and moving the lockers over here. I realize the height gets shallower as you move beyond this wall, but the lockers, I mean, they're a foot up and they end a foot from the ceiling. That could still work. The only problem then, of course, is anybody opens the door and here you are standing naked in front of everybody, but whatever. Also, not that it's a big deal, but it is something I noticed. The distance from somebody's head to the magic bucket over here, trumpet noises. Do you really want to have it that close, or is this like really sound insulated? Other than that, I don't have a lot of problems with this. Again, this door is lacking a hidden button. Anybody scanning around, I mean, it's less likely for somebody to be pinging around with their F key over here. But again, I'd like to see a hidden button somewhere, whether it's you know, behind the logo here, for example, or on the ceiling, wherever. I just like to see a hidden door with a hidden button. Also, by the way, if you move these lockers to that end, or maybe even move the lockers here, and just keep one desk, or put the other desk over there, then you can put the 3 beds back into the original horseshoe configuration, which would actually allow you to add a little bit more of a corridor here, maybe a little bit of a narrowing so that the toilets aren't right next to the bed, and move each bed half a length back, move that one half a length back, and then this one over here would just end up right there. And then you could even, if needed be, you could even put a curtain here or a privacy screen or something along that line. Just to me, that just works better. Okay, habitation. Across the hallway. I always wondered what was going over here. We lost the window. Sad, but okay, I understand why, because the window would have been very small and the casing would have basically made it look like you were looking through a tunnel. There wouldn't be much to see. So a hologram, just like you have in the Origin ships, you could have some holograms sitting over here, and then just a slideshow. A baby diaper changing table. Not sure what this is. There's nothing else like it in the ship. Access level 1. This obviously opens up. Maybe this is where the cereal boxes go. Let me know. I'd love to know. Now, big elephant in the room is the chess table. Backlit. I mean, from this angle I can see white pieces from black pieces, but it's hard to tell. And depending on the lighting condition, especially from this angle, it's very hard to tell. Imagine if the game is halfway through and the pieces are all mixed up. I mean, how can you tell a white piece from a black piece? So I would really suggest you get rid of the backlit board and just go with a regular wooden board, and then just have a light overhead to illuminate the board, so you know you can clearly see a white piece from a black piece. Either that or make the pieces glow or something along that line. Now, first thing everybody's going to do who's visiting your ship, or every owner is going to do, they're going to pick up the white queen, they're going to put it there and leave it there. Or they're going to put it in their pocket and hide it somewhere on the ship. Or they're going to take it off the ship and then drop it somewhere. So, to me, not smart. Having the only way to enter this hidden table over here be on something that you can take off the ship. So my suggestion is, well, this is really neat, and by the way, somebody's going to move this coaster at some point because it's going to get in the way. Somebody wants to make sandwiches. My suggestion is, don't have something you can take off the ship. Again, make it a physical button. You can't take a physical button off the ship, right? So if you're going to put the button anywhere, I mean, you got a neat little panel here that can slide up diagonally. There's another panel here that can slide up. I mean, there's so many places to hide a button. I would really like to see an actual physical button. Other than that, I'm not really going to dwell on this room. It looks nice. Just wish there was a window. I would definitely do something with this wall over here. Moving on. Alright, now the mysterious corridor that I've never quite figured out what this is for. I would really like one of the devs to explain to me what this is. If you look at these units here that go all the way around, there's another bunch over here. There's 10 in total, and they say pull. And if you go back to the server racks in the server room, you'll notice that these are identical to the ones in the server room. Each data rack in the server room has 2 of these. There's 24 there in total, and there's another 10 over here. I don't know, are these like actual data pods that we can pull out? And then why would there be another 10 sitting over here? And no idea what this is. Now, like I said, we're still missing a few things. For example, the engineering control panel. So maybe this is supposed to be the engineering control panel that simply hasn't been installed yet. It would make sense, because just like the Freelancer, it's behind the cockpit in one of the corridors. So I'm just going to assume that for the moment. Another thing that's missing, of course, is the ship's size 2 radar component as well as the avionics computer, because the server racks that we saw in the back, they don't have blade slots. So this ship has to have at least one size 2 computer where you can put the blade slots in so you can slave automate turrets, that sort of thing. Now on this side of the ship, there's nothing there, so I doubt anything would be hidden behind these doors here. However, on this side, there's an empty void. So we got a button over here. I don't suppose that panel would be doing anything. There it says pull. So why would you hide an avionics computer or a radar component? And there's no label for it anywhere. So my suggestion is, since this ship has no escape pods, and the only way out is all the way back through the cargo bay where there might be a fire, or there could be a raiding party, and there is no access to the floor hatches. Even over here, you know, once if you're pushed back in a firefight all the way to this point, there's no way into the escape hatches or the crawl tunnels. So you're stuck. You need a way out. My suggestion, if you put an escape hatch here, that will lead you, like a hidden door, it would lead you into that void that's on the right side of the cockpit, and then from there might be either you would just wait it out until you have a chance to leave the ship, or there might be a way out through there, whether it's an escape hatch or an escape pod. Alternatively, right underneath here is the nose landing gear. Now these look a lot like hatches that could open up, so perhaps there's a way you can open this up, and as long as the nose gear is extended, or maybe opening this hatch will force the nose gear down, and then you can climb out through the nose gear hatch. So that's another way to escape the ship. Other than that, not really sure what to say about this. If you crouch down, and you can actually see outside of the ship, so that's actually a bug right through here, and here as well you can actually see out of the ship. So that's just something to pass on to the devs. Coming into the cockpit, we've never had a cockpit like this before. 2 chairs, 2 people to defend the cockpit. Not sure why you need 4 rifles. What I would really like to see here though is 2 rifles, and then maybe some hand grenades, or you know, those personalized FPS shield generators that you can erect in front of the door. If they do open up the door, then at least that way you have a shield to protect you. The door opens the wrong way, as everybody already knows. This large, lighter area extends out of the ship, so this door needs to be flipped, because as I already said, on the right side of the cockpit there's an empty void. Over here we have something called numbers 1 through 4. I suppose these could be the 4 computers, if there's not supposed to be a 5th computer. These aren't exactly blade slots. Something looks like something is supposed to be clamped in here at some point. I honestly have no idea. Perhaps this is where the batteries would go in. 4 batteries, again, wouldn't make any sense. If you are going to put a battery somewhere, maybe down here, maybe the radar housing is supposed to be in here, maybe the radar housing is supposed to be in there. You know, it's just supposed to go somewhere. Personally, my open up door. Come on, open up. And the door doesn't work. By the way, sometimes this door is still pitch black. So open sesame. Okay. Anyway, my opinion, the radar should be in the corridor back here somewhere, or you know, you can probably open this up a little bit and put a radar component in here. Avionics computers, I don't know. Again, maybe these are supposed to be the avionics computer, but just like the Carrack. You could also put a computer in here, which then rises up and you can install the blade slots and it comes back down again. The other critiques I have for this ship is there's a strange orange globe here. Sometimes you also see, there it is, a blue globe. That's some kind of a visual lighting bug. There's, again, over there an orange bug. And if I jump up, yeah, there it is. There's a blue one there as well. The co-pilot chair is never illuminated. Doesn't matter if there's sunlight or if I turn the cabin lights on or off. Pilot seat is always nicely lit up. The co-pilot seat is always dark. So my only other suggestion for this ship is, among all the buttons that we have in the cockpit, there's nothing there that closes all of the secret doors and secret hatches. When I depart the ship, odds are I left something open. I think right now I even left the chest table wide open. So if this ship gets boarded or security needs to get on board, I might walk right by the habitat, forgetting that the chest table is open. And I mean, as soon as anybody gets into those scroll tunnels, the game is up, right? So I need a button here that simply closes all hidden doors, because something is going to get left open. Now, speaking of the crawl tunnels, and I need to get out of here. Don't make me interrupt this video. Yeah, I'm locked in. Come on. I'm going to have to edit this piece out. Well, maybe if I sit in the seat here. Try engines on. By the way, speaking of the Crusader Industries computer voice, I would really like it if you changed it. It sounds like a person who's having a bad day, is in a miserable mood, and it's just a very unfriendly voice. So I would really suggest that you change that voice, or do a do-over. Alright, let's try this door one more time. There we go. Alright, the crawl tunnels. The most obvious one that everybody can find, of course, is this one. Let's hop inside. Now, as Morphologist has already pointed out, for fire mitigation, fire propagation, you don't want a fire to start in one corner of the ship and have it travel all throughout the ship, because these tunnels are wide open. It just travels all the way through. My suggestion is to actually add some doors in here. So at some strategic points, the doors don't have to be hidden, but just, you know, for example, over here, just add another door over here just to stop the fire from penetrating through, which means you'd also have to block this off somehow. It's a lot of work, and I know it's not necessarily, you know, it's just a game, but something that should be considered. Another thing I would suggest is, if you can turn these into little storage cubby holes. What we need down here, if you're crawling around, is we need a pistol, right? If you're scrambling to get away from people infiltrating the ship, you might not have a pistol on you. Give me a pistol, a hand grenade, Medipen, Oxypen. I mean, this whole area might be vented to outer space. I might need some oxygen. Just little treasure trove cabinets where I can find some survival gear. And lastly, again, this is the door I was talking about that should really be in the scanning room. So one that's identical to this one. If you have the chair here, and then a hidden door, again, I left this panel open. If we had that button in the cockpit to close all hidden doors and wall access panels, then this wouldn't be here for anybody to find in an open position. But in the scanning room, I would have this door, and then behind this door there would be the access panel. Now, one final thing to suggest to CIG: if you're not going to put an escape hatch next to the cockpit in that side corridor, then I would put a blowout hatch somewhere here in the floor, wherever it fits in the ship. Just have a hatch in the floor somewhere, press the button, explosive charge blows it out, and now we have a place to escape the ship. Because again, if there's a fire in the back of the ship, and or pirates are coming through, there's no way off the ship. You're stuck. And where's the fire extinguisher? Oh yeah, it's in the cargo bay. There should be more fire extinguishers. So coming over here, I just realized I do have more to say. How far are we into this? 30 minutes already. Oh wow. So again, here's another hatch that I left open. If there's a fire in the cargo bay, and that's the only fire extinguisher on board, how am I supposed to get to it? So let's say you're hauling cargo, you got 108 SCU of cargo sitting over here, but you're a legal person, you're not a bad guy, so you've got another 6 SCU of legal cargo sitting over here. If I arrive at a trading station, and I want to sell that cargo, I probably want to sell this too. Now, I'd rather not have to go with my little tractor beam and move 6 individual containers out here after I've already sold this cargo, just so that it's on the cargo grid and then finally I can sell it. That's just a waste of time. What I would really like is that there's a button on here somewhere